Ready when you are,
We were
boss.
there for.
I'm gonna call,
Yeah,
the meeting of the Port of Siuslaw for Wednesday, August 20th to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agendas. Commissioners, do you have anything to add or change to the agenda?
Move we approve.
That would be the top page.
Thank you. Move we approve.
Move to approve. We don't have to have a motion, I'm just,
Oh, okay, good. I retract my motion.
okay? But I do need you to, approval of the minutes, if someone, I presume everybody's read the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting, July 16th, 2014.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. This time there is the time when the citizens can address the commissioners. You are limited to 5 minutes per speaker, and there's a sign-up sheet. Do we have anyone signed up?
We have one speaker, Harlan Springer.
Harlan?
Great, thank you. I want to revisit something I've visited before with the commissioners. First of all, I'd like to say that the dredging monies that have been set aside by DeFazio and the work that you guys have done is spectacular. I mean, that's a huge, huge deal.
Right.
The question I've raised before, is that we can keep, as I understand it, we can keep dredging and dredging and dredging forever, but until we fix this huge issue with the jetty itself, then we're going to be locked into having to get these funds all the time. So
Yes.
the question I'd like to have is that, or I guess it's a statement, it's not a question, is that,
Sure.
have we basically resigned ourselves that this is too big of a project and we simply can't do it?
No.
Or, okay, then I guess I'd just like to understand, is there a plan to somehow access the Army Corps of Engineers to see if we can't somehow get funds earmarked for this?
I can address that.
Okay.
I have talked to the Army Corps of Engineers. They have done a survey on the project, and their estimate is $120 million. They, of course, don't have any money, but they did tell me one thing that was kind of interesting. Apparently, they're going to do a big jetty job at the mouth of the Columbia. And they suggested that maybe we could get them to barge the rock down for our jetty. The other thing I thought was interesting was the fact that people seem to think we need to change the jetty's configuration so that the waves don't come straight in and bring that sand straight in. And they said absolutely not. Whatever they do is going to be just to repair what has gone away from it.
Oh,
Okay?
okay. So then there's a decent chance that this rock, I mean, they might actually do that, or they were saying that's maybe?
I think that is very slim to none, but it's an avenue. We're in meetings today and again tomorrow, and there's an Oregon Coastal Caucus meeting here up at the casino that Bob and I have gone to, and today Merkley was there, tomorrow DeFazio was there, and Wyden's. And we just keep pushing our lobbyists and mostly their staff. They don't like to talk to us directly, to put the money in there for the jetties whenever they can, but they can't earmark things anymore either.
That's right, yeah. But just one final thought, the 120 million, it sounds like a lot, but in the world of the Army Corps of Engineers,
Yeah.
that's a drop in the bucket, right?
Right.
So it's really just a question of, do they have it, and how do we go get it?
Well,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
not really. The set-asides for the small ports for all of the United States in the Harbor Trust Fund is 40 million.
Yes.
For everybody.
For everybody in the United
In the
States.
United States. So that is not gonna do anything for us there.
When you say set aside, is that for the maintenance fund?
Yes.
Would this be considered maintenance
It is.
or repair?
Maintenance, repair, maintenance/repair.
I mean, it ought to be a capital
Yeah.
improvement.
Well, yeah. But the job that they're doing on the Columbia is 300 million.
Yeah, yeah, and that.
And that's a large port.
Which is a large port thing.
Okay.
But if we could piggyback onto that some way, I'll
Okay.
kind of work that
Okay,
direction.
great, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all the remarks. Let's see, financials. Does everybody have a chance to review the financial statements? I did. It looks like our occupancy is up again, still. So we're having a good year. Looks like we're full today. Did you say you're full?
We're close.
So we're pretty much full, should be from here on out for the next month or so. Anybody like to make a motion to approve financials?
Move that we, let's see, am I supposed to do it with comment, or? I move that we approve the financials.
Second?
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay, old business. We have discussed the commercial mortgage for the last 2 meetings, and I'm hoping we can move on from that today. As I see it, there's 2 things, or actually probably 3 things we can do. Is one, just leave it the way that we have approved it, or we can rescind the 3% raise, or we could raise it higher as far as that goes. But I'm gonna open this for discussion from the commissioners. Terry?
I would be biased if I said rescind it. The 3% to the commercial doesn't mean anything. My only comment is I think, while I'm on the board, 3% a year just doesn't quite, we don't need to raise it 3%, 3%,
No,
3%
no, I agree.
every year. I think the cuts that we give to the sport fishermen, I would not want to rescind the motion, would be my opinion.
The 25% you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
sport.
No.
So,
As a point of interest, can Terry even enter the discussion because
Sure I
of?
can.
Well, I think there's a conflict.
I've declared my conflict, and I think that, I've just said, I'm not gonna rescind the motion. And
Well, I
said
know,
it-
but-
My interest as a commercial fisherman does not bias my ability to make comment on this, in my opinion. And if the chair overrides me on that, so be it.
So, Terry, did you state for the record that you have a potential conflict of interest?
I believe I did when this first started. I did.
Okay, why don't you just restate that for this discussion?
I kinda did, I paraphrased it, that I do have a potential conflict of interest.
Those are the words I wanted to hear, thank you.
Thank you. But I do believe that, and as my potential, I choose not to rescind the 3%.
Okay.
So,
Jay?
I don't have a problem with the 3%, as long as we can visit it again next year and.
Which we will do.
Which we will do,
automatically.
exactly, so.
That is what the resolution says.
Exactly, yeah.
About you, Nancy?
So it's not, it's an ongoing, but it's not an ongoing.
Right.
It's an ongoing, but it has to be approved every year.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I feel that the 3% is okay. I think that we need to be on track to get closer to the other ports.
Yeah.
I would disagree with 100%. We are not Newport, we are not Winchester Bay. I don't think what other ports do has any bearing at all on what we do. That's like saying every place in town that sells hamburgers has to sell them at the same price. You're saying McDonald's has to sell them at the same price as the Waterfront Depot. They're different situations, they're different. We need to just look at this port and what we need. And, if we get to be Newport and that kind of a port, absolutely, we'll compare to them. If we get to be Winchester Bay and the amenities that they have and the close to the ocean that they are, then absolutely, we will compare. But right now, we're not, and we need to just look at Siuslaw Port, nobody else. And,
But having read this history of this thing, it's been put off and put off to try to get the increases in.
And I kept reading that. Every time I read that, it said, you know, we need to get in line with the other ports, and I adamantly disagree with that. Adamantly disagree with that. But you know, 3% is good, as long as we can talk about it next year.
Yeah.
But we need to look at our port,
Yeah.
not what Newport is. We'll never be Newport. The NOAA boats aren't coming in here.
Well,
We'll never
no.
be
Yeah, we're not
Winchester
that
Bay where we're
close to
that
the
close to
ocean.
the ocean.
Because how many commercial fishermen do we have?
Me,
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Delma Ann, have they made a landing here yet this year?
no.
Okay, I've made several landings here.
no, that's what we're talking about. Yes, you are, we don't deny that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm,
So what,
yeah.
if you have a question to ask me, why don't you ask me if this
No, no.
port is the same as Newport?
No, that's not
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's-
issue, is that
That's
we
not
don't have
the
a
issue.
tremendous amount of fishermen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not the same,
No.
Nancy.
No, I know that. And our bar is closed a lot.
Yes, it is. And it's 5 miles of crab rings and ropes and
Sport
to get
fishermen.
here, you know,
And then you have nothing when you get here, Nancy.
and then you have nothing when you get here.
You have
So-
nothing, there's no buyers sitting here waiting to
Right,
take our catch.
I know that.
There's no ice. When we come in here and sell our tuna, then we have to go back out, go to Newport to make an ice appointment, to go back out, catch tuna. We do choose to sell tuna here because we sell tuna to a lot of friends and family and past buyers and people we acquaintances. That's why we do come in here. Believe me, it's a lot easier to go into Newport and sell.
Unload and
Right.
go back fishing.
Yes,
Right.
but there are no buyers here.
Okay.
So to say to get it in line with Newport or Charleston is unrealistic. This port, it could be if we fix the jetties, spend 120 million to fix the jetties, then we could have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right now, you have to, there's maybe 3 times in a week that you even want to try to come across the bar. And then when you get here, you gotta call the bridge crew and they gotta come and you gotta sit out there for 2 hours and wait while they open the bridge so you can get below the bridge. It's not the same. It's just,
Okay.
so,
Do we need to make a motion to put this to sleep?
No, you already made a motion.
We're good.
Okay, so we're,
You passed it before.
okay, so we're just leaving it, everything the way it was. Okay, now let's go to some new business. Rotation of the officers. Anybody want to change the officers?
No.
No,
No?
No.
it's probably you.
Huh?
It's probably you.
No, I don't mind. Comes with the territory. So that's fine, the officers will remain the same for this year, and we'll look at it again next year. Reports. I have nothing to report other than the fact that we have gone to the Oregon Coastal Economic Summit today, and again tomorrow, and it's, all the ports up and down the coast, and all the legislatures from the coast, Arnie Ruben, Caddy, McEwen, and 8 or 9 other legislators, and all sorts of people from the governor's office, including the governor's girlfriend, and not finding it really interesting. I don't like the format, which is a format of where they have a subject and they put 6 people up on the stage and each one of them talk about it for about 15 minutes, and not really interesting, and there's no interaction between the audience and the people up on the stage. But anyway, I will go, and I'll go again tomorrow, and hopefully make some contacts with DeFazio or Merkley or even Arnie Ruben, or anybody is good that might help us somewhere along the line. Bob.
The good news about the caucus that they have every year is that this is one of the few groups that actually does get something done. The event is more of an afterthought than it is, the work that they do is very, very helpful. What I find that's good about the event, yes, it's kind of boring the way the format is, but the networking is what's really important.
Right, yeah.
One of the issues that I've brought up, I think about 18 months ago, will probably get resolved because this caucus was happening, and I remembered to fire off a note to the officials that are gonna be here. When I first got here, I kept asking everybody, why does the port as a district have to be concerned with the city's building codes, sign codes, and that sort of thing? And nobody could really answer the question. Legal counsel said because, so we did some research and found that the Port of Siuslaw was designated a municipal corporation in 1909 through House Bill 28. Only 5 other ports had that designation. Everything after 1921 was done under Oregon law of ports. And in that law, they grandfathered all the rights of those previous ports to them. We have policing powers, we have our rights of ordinance, and we have everything that the city has. Everybody we've talked to said, well, it doesn't make sense that you should have to be involved with the city if you are a municipal corporation, because one municipal corporation cannot have an authority over the other. And so Arnie Roblin's office is going to request a legislative review of that question and of that document to see. Because something over 100 years ago could have been, you're familiar, could be rewritten a million times. We just don't know, but I'd like to find out that question so that might give a different relationship with the city than what we have today. So that kind of thing does help when we have these people all in one room, and within 5 minutes you can hit each one of them. So that type of thing. So that question, and quite honestly, well, when we get the answer, we get the answer. At least we'll have a clear-cut answer of what that relationship is and how we will deal with the city in the future. Those are pretty good. We've accomplished, I've sent you a list of things that we accomplished. The other thing that was not on that list, 2 things on that, not on that list. Next week, we'll be doing evaluations on all the employees. So their job cards are up to date. They haven't been distributed until next week, but then we'll do the evaluation process as well. They'll all sign for it. So everything in personnel will be up to date at the end of next week, and should carry on from then on. So that should work out real well. And then the other thing that we're doing, I don't think was on your list that I sent you, was we're increasing the amount of pump outs. We're putting one in right below where ICM is to catch that whole series of, and we'll be able to, within a 50-foot hose, we get almost everybody to a pump out station. They won't even have to move their boat on that A dock. And if you come in and you're working under the hoist or something and want to do a pump out right then, you can do it right there as well. So that should be done in the next, we've got all the plumbing in, we've got the unit in. Find out, the reason we're doing it is we're looking for ways to make it simpler for people not to have to move their big boats around if they didn't have to. And found that we had one that only had 18 hours in it. It was in the shed, it just hadn't been upgraded. So we upgraded it for a few bucks and getting ready to install it.
So prior to this, you only had one pump out, didn't you?
We had the one up on the transient dock and then one over here off of E-Dock. And that was it. So it was very, it was very difficult for people to get to. This will make it very convenient and should give us also with the plumbing aspect of it, we should be able to put it one at the foot of C-Dock as well. So we'll be able to tie them all in, get our customers set so that they should be able to not have to move their boats if they don't want to. So that should be and we've worked with, is it ODF&W? No. Who is that we work with on the permitting of that? And they're all good with it because all the plumbing was already put into when they did the retrofit of the transient dock. All the holes for the plumbing were put in, everything was plumbed, so we just had to run through and put pipe in and connect everything up. So should turn out to be a pretty good convenience, I think, for everybody.
Excellent. Do you have anything else?
I think
Can
you guys have questions.
Give us an update on the floating restroom that is supposed to?
Well, we really can't. I can give you an update, but I can't tell you what and I just ran into the folks over there at this group meeting. Who was it? Marine Board asked us originally if we would do this and put this in. So we said, sure, as long as it doesn't cost us any money. And they actually pay us a certain amount to maintain it, that sort of thing. So they were gonna take care of everything. They asked, and they've helped doing all the paperwork for the different organizations, you know, different agencies that require paperwork. They've been filling it out, doing a real good job. They hit a snag with ODF&W.
We sent out the joint application to the Department of State Lands and the Corps for the permit to drive pile.
Oh, that's
In
okay.
that process, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife responded with their comments. They feel uncomfortable, they want mitigation for the shading
They want us to
that the
pull out
restroom
docks.
is going to.
Sorry.
So here you've got
No,
one
that's-
state agency wanting to help the fish by cleaning up the water, and another state agency saying, well, we want you to mitigate because you're shading the water.
You're creating a place for
Creating a
predatory
problem.
fish to come
So-
in and eat the other fish.
They're kinda working, they're going to work with each other.
So, Oregon Marine Board apologized for the snag and asked for a couple weeks to try to get behind closed doors with these other agencies who claimed at a meeting a year ago that they were all in kumbaya and gonna work together, and obviously that didn't take. So that's where we're at. So we got a
Okay.
2-week hiatus until we can go back and find out what these other groups are gonna work with them or not work with them.
Okay. Commissioners, any comments? Jay?
Nope.
Nancy? Terry?
Last month, I went to the watershed meeting, which was out at the yurt
Yeah.
at Honeyman. And this particular one was on the condition of the coastal lakes and the bloom that occurs and causes people to not be able to use the water. It's quite interesting, and I encourage people to catch the watershed meetings. The next one will be the last Wednesday of this month at Mapleton.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. There being no other business at this time, I'm gonna close our regular meeting. And thank you all for coming. At this time, we are going to have an executive session. The Port of Silaston Board of Commissioners will meet in an executive session per ORS 192.660 to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the board to negotiate real estate transactions.